Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we're going to be looking at something a little bit different than walls, and that is spawner rooms, and specifically one that you can make fit into a small space. And don't worry, it's not actually this. So what this is one spawner that you would, if you just have one spawner and you just want to stick in your base and you have a relatively small base, or let's say you have a vault and it's just a small room in it, or something like that, you'd normally place something like this in it like so, and it's pretty small because most mob spawners you can only place 3 blocks outside unless it's something like a spider spawner, so therefore the mobs can't actually spawn in this area and they can only spawn inside this water area, so it's technically only 5x5 or 7x7 depending on which angle you look at it, and it's still moderately small and you can use it for most mobs. And if you want to use it for iron golems, you just have to raise it up by 1. And you have a simple grinding system where you can just go down here and then punch whatever mob it is with your looting free sword, and then put all your loot into a chest, or you could have like some sort of tray. It's just a very simple and nice system that can get pretty much every mob, whether it be blazes or zombies. It doesn't really matter. Unfortunately the mobs don't stack in this, so they won't fall one by one, but you get the point. But what I'm going to be showing is one that is a lot smaller. So this one is one that is a lot smaller for several reasons, and I originally got this idea back when I was playing on TMFactions, which I will be playing again once we finally reset it to map 3, which should be happening in between 1 and 3 weeks, as we got quite a bit of it done anyway. But this is one that you only have to have in the corner because of several reasons. So imagine that this is a block, but this obsidian wall represents the very edge of your base. So this here is your actual wall, but this glass here still represents the same 7x7 area. And the reason for that is because the mobs can still spawn 3 blocks outside of where you actually place it. But that's not good if they can spawn outside it, because then if they're not in your mob farm, then you're losing efficiency. And that's what mob farms are all about. So what we can do here is, since we have solid blocks and then water, mobs can't actually spawn on water. They have to spawn either in mid-air or down lower. So for this one, we can just have it so we have our blocks here, and then we can have another wall which could have more water, so we still have the same 3-block gap, but we can put our spawner in the middle. And this is great for most spawners. I'm on a single player world, so these spawners are actually disabled, but these would spawn in all these positions, and if for some reason you're disabled where it wouldn't place in mid-air and it would register the water block, then you could just place this up 1 higher while still having it only be a 4x4 area, and having the actual main killing area be a 3x3 area, and it still works essentially the same as a normal one, because we can place like a blaze down here. It's just getting killed by the water, but once it gets to here, it's still in the grinder and you can still destroy it. And another huge advantage of this sort of grinder is the fact that it has this extra block up here, because this extra block, what I mean by extra block is down here, unless you have some slab layer where you have, which will actually make it bulkier because you have to place the slabs higher, you can't have a slab at this level where the sign is, because you wouldn't be able to have a grinder there. Well, this one, since it's on the very edge of it, you can go ahead and place the slab just on here. Of course, that's not really the main issue, because there are workarounds. You can just place water in one corner, of course bring it down to the side, but you really only need to do something like that if you are having it in the corner. So this is by far not a super in-depth tutorial on how this works. It's more of just a concept of how you could fit like a really small spawner if you have like just a corner in the side of your base that you could fit something like this in, which I think is really, really good for most bases. You could make this with more spawners. You could stack it up, so you could have like a pillar of spawners along here if I had some blocks, and you could still have it in a small area while still having like 5 spawners in one spot. I think it's just a really neat contraption. I'm sure when I'm starting, and if I have any spawners, I will probably do something along the lines of this. So anyway, that's enough of blabbering on about this. Let's actually get on to a brief tutorial on this. So now on to the tutorial. What I have here is our little area, which is going to be a 7x7 area, but technically a 4x4 area because we'll be building it inside a wall. And the reason for this is because this is going to be our wall, and you want to make sure that you have your wall area, that you have your main wall, and that there's at least 2 blocks where mobs can't spawn on. So let's say, for example, this is a water layer, and then this is a wall, or there's 2 water layers, which I'm pretty sure if anyone has a base, they'll almost certainly be building more than 1 wall, and if they have a spawner in, even more reason to. So what you're going to need next is you're going to need 1 block below your building floor, and you're going to need 3 blocks above that, with this bedrock block representing the roof, or the maximum height you can be at, which can be the actual roof. So you can actually build this in a total of a 4x4 area, which is really nice because it's a very small area for having such a high-tech farm in. So what you're going to need next is you're going to need some building blocks. You're going to need some blocks for your walls, which I've already got here, so essentially still more building blocks. Some water source blocks, a hopper, your mob spawners, and a chest. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and make sure that your platform has 2 blocks above it, and then you want to go ahead and go out 4 blocks from the edge of the wall, and then place down a border like so that goes in by 3 blocks, and do that on the other side too. Then you can go ahead and get rid of this bottom thing here. So what we're going to be doing next is building the actual tray which we're going to be holding this in, and you're also going to need a slab. So you want to go ahead and place a hopper here, which can be facing into a chest going in any direction, so a hopper here, and then you're going to need a slab and sign which we'll be placing on here later on. So what we're going to be doing next is placing our mob spawner on here, which is going to be just for now a pig spawner, and then water underneath it, which will pretty much just face in this general direction. So what you want to do now is place down a slab and then a sign or some transparent block that doesn't have a hitbox, or a hitbox that people can go through. So pretty much just leaves signs, and then you are done. Then you just need to create some sort of grinding area, which will be down here, which, like, let's say this is the floor level, then you could just have it right beside it, hit them here, and get all your loot in this chest. So I think it's a very simple design that can fit in a